Okay, so I've been getting a whole lot of mails, inquiries, and all that about the subject matter lingering around for some days now. This same issue of US travel ban for Nigerians. Now, this issue is very broad and is a matter of yeah, national repute. In fact, is a disappointment to the Nigerian body as a whole because Nigeria cannot be rated among the countries that you probably never heard of before. It's highly degrading to have Nigeria listed among those countries. And it's no longer news that Nigeria has contributed immensely to the growth of the United States as it is present day. Record have it that over 59% of the workers in the United States that have contributed immensely to the growth of the United States are Nigerian citizens. And of course, everybody worldwide knows how peaceful and hardworking Nigerian citizens can be, both young and old. So having Nigeria listed among these visa banned countries is something that is very sensitive and should not be overlooked. Irrespective of the fact that countries have the right to control their border, to control who comes in and who goes out. But the international law itself, the African Charter for Human Rights, the UN laws on human rights also fight strongly against such things because people are supposed to have the freedom to move from wherever they want to go to without being in that, even though there are laws that are guiding this movement. Having complied to these laws, people are not supposed to be restricted, especially when you have this set of people contributing immensely to the growth of your economy as a country. So Nigeria frowning at this should be expected and should not be tolerated. As a matter of fact, what seems to be the technical aspect of all this whole thing is the fact that this travel ban may end up affecting the US citizens themselves. The technical part of this travel ban that seems to be a major concern for me as a practitioner is the fact that this may simply affect the fundamental rights of the United States citizens themselves. Now, it is enshrined in the United States Constitution that citizens of the United States have some, listed rights as citizens of the United States, which is one of the right to assemble and then for the child, right to be with the children. Now, critically speaking, we have Nigerians and the United States have mixed with each other over the years. You have a whole lot of Nigerians being married to the United States citizens and then thereby, becoming one and then integrating themselves into the system. If you have this over the years and then some of them are probably in the process, in the verge of getting their papers done completely, and then you come from nowhere and say people can no longer become citizens or you place some laws that affect people's fundamental rights. These are sensitive things that should not be tolerated. At the end of the day, these will fight back to the makers of these laws because if you create a law that affects the fundamental rights of your citizens, then what is the essence of protecting your citizens? If you claim all the protection or all the principles or policies you establish are for the protection of your citizens, and at the end of the day, your citizens are the receiving end of it, then what doesn't make any sense to me. So this may in turn be uh, a weapon against themselves at the end of the day if proper action is not being taken and this subject matter is being reconsidered because it's a subject for fundamental rights and fundamental right issues are not something that must be taken for granted. People cannot be denied from being with their families. People cannot be denied from being with their loved ones. And then you bring up a policy that primarily affects people's fundamental rights. This should not be tolerated. This is something that is very, very sensitive and should be caught before it goes too far. Now, uh, if you have to interpret the travel ban, of course, we know if you are going to the United States to do business or you are traveling as a tourist visitor or for studies and all that or for medical attention, you may not be affected. Rather, you are free to apply for all these things. But in the long run, if you already have a process or an application going on for you to become a citizen, haven't been married or haven't complied with the laid down laws of the state, and then overnight this thing turned around and then you are being affected. Your own fundamental rights is being affected, or a United States citizen's fundamental right is being affected. So what are we talking about? It is of no use. It is irrelevant. At the end of the day, the United States citizens whom you are trying to protect are the receiving end. So it doesn't really make sense. I think the Congress or the Homeland Security or whoever is in charge need to sit down and review this policy and find the lasting solution to it. I'm aware of some parts of the Congress who are already against it, that Nigerians have contributed immensely to the growth of the United States. So they ought not to be listed. Look at the countries, Eritrea and the other country. They are countries that are in the middle of nowhere. They are like the South Korea of Africa. These are countries that it's disappointing to have Nigeria listed among them. All over the world, Nigerians are known for good repute. We know our economy may seem a little bit down, but then this doesn't give rise for other nationals to look down on Nigerians. If you recall very well, this issue of travel ban is not a new concept to us. It has been introduced before, but it was tagged Islamic or Muslim ban, where Muslim applicants are being given critical consideration before their visa application is being considered. Now it is a general matter of Africa ban, because the highest rate of people applying for this category of visas are Nigerians, and they are being affected. And likewise, very sure citizens of the United States who are deemed to be protected are already affected, and things are being done about it. We were meant to understand that one of the reasons for placing Nigeria among the banned countries is because of the social security of the state. If you trace back the relationship of the United States with Nigeria since backdated to 1960, you will see that Nigeria has maintained a very close relationship with the United States. It becomes so one of the great allies of Nigeria, and we have exchanged so many bilateral relationships, and it has made the country to grow over the years. However, the United States have even contributed immensely to fighting insurgency in Nigeria. These are some of the things that needs to be put into utmost consideration before this travel ban can be tolerated. A whole lot of things are going to be affected if this uh, travel ban is allowed to linger for a long time. One, the bilateral relationship between the two countries is going to be affected. The citizens of both countries living in individual countries are also going to be affected. So this is a matter of fundamental rights at the end of the day, and we do not want our loved ones becoming stranded or becoming victim of circumstances as it will be, and then hereby being stranded and may never be able to see themselves again in years. So these are issues, these are reasons why our government and even the United States government also ought to have a rethink on this concept, because Nigerians are all over. Nigerians are even in the United States paying their tax, working very hard, growing the economy of the other country rather than coming to their country. This is a lifestyle people have already picked up over the years. This is something that cannot be changed overnight. So you cannot discourage the people. You cannot blame them for integrating or migrating to another country and settling down. This is not supposed to be tolerated. They have their loved ones, trying to move their loved ones to a greener pastures. The same way the United States benefits from Nigeria, it should not be seen as if Nigerians are the ones that have a lot to benefit from the United States. No, even the United States have a lot to benefit from these uh, citizens staying in their country. They pay tax, they work hard, they grow their economy. They are the ones who hold topmost positions in in the United States. So why would you just want to turn back the ends of time overnight? It's going to affect the United States economy and even the lives of Nigerians already struggling to meet up with their loved ones abroad. So that's a factor that needs to be considered before this concept is allowed to, linger for a while. One of the reasons why the United States have listed Nigeria among the banned countries is primarily because of the security standard. And you would wonder what our president or our government is doing about this. Well, I personally appreciate the response of the government towards this whole issue. They are being highly diplomatic about it, which I think is a very good and welcoming strategy to, combating such matters of international repute. Now, our president have tried his best to, create a forum or a platform for on how to see how the security standards of Nigeria can be increased, which is a very good one to justify or exonerate ourselves from this negative claims that the United States have inflicted upon us. However, I believe this will be reviewed. It's not a matter that will linger for too long if proper attention is being given to it, and our government can stand firm and determine their stake and then protect the interests of the nationals, generally speaking. So it's something that should not be taken for granted, if you ask me. It's something that ought to be given a good close attention and should not be allowed to linger for too long, because at the end of the day, our citizens and even that of the United States will be at the receiving end, as it is a matter of fundamental right.